Right then, do you think because you have eaten at Gordon Ramsay's joint 3 times you understand food? Wow, let me stop you right there, sunshine. You're about to get your colonial knickers twisted. In this village, your precious balanced palate is about as useful as a chocolate teapot in July. I once watched a London food blogger ask for less fish funk in a somtam. The grandmother just laughed. Then she added more Padek. Welcome to Isaan, where your opinion does not just not matter, it is actively offensive. I have been a grumpy old Englishman in northeast Thailand for, let us just say, long enough to know better. I came here thinking my years of reviewing Sunday roasts and commenting on the perfect sausage roll gave me some kind of authority. Ha ha, what a deluded fool. Let me paint you a picture. You are in a village kitchen, no air conditioning, the floor is concrete, swept clean, but stained by a decade of chili splashes. An elderly woman, let us call her Yai Somchit, because that is her name, sits cross-legged on a low stool. She is maybe 70, her hands look like ancient tree roots, and she is holding a wooden pestle the size of my forearm. That pestle, it is not a tool, it is a gavel, and you are not the judge. Back in London, we have this lovely obsession with balance. You know the drill. A dish should have a whisper of acidity, a touch of sweetness, a hint of heat, but nothing too aggressive. It is culinary diplomacy. Everyone gets along. Now, imagine that polite, hand-shaking, elderly British man walking into a larb stall in Udon Thani. He is wearing linen. He is carrying a little notebook. He asks, "Excuse me, could you perhaps reduce that fermented fish a fraction? It is a tad assertive." The woman behind the stall does not speak English. However, she understands his face. She has seen it 1,000 times. She smiles, reaches into a clay jar, pulls out a lump of Padek, and that is fermented fish, by the way, and it smells like the Thames at low tide if the Thames had been left in the sun for 6 months, and she doubles the dose. Why? Because in Isaan, balance is not sweet meets sour. Balance is heat, salt, funk and bitterness all punching you in the face at the same time. Besides, you thank them for it. Here is the thing you do not understand, and I did not either for the first embarrassing year. In the Nissan kitchen, there is no customer feedback form. There is no chef's special based on TripAdvisor reviews. The hierarchy goes like this. At the top, Yai, the grandmother. She decides what sap delicious is. Below her, my mother, who executes Yai's vision without question. Below her, the daughters, who chop chilies and pray they do not touch their eyes. At the very bottom, scraping the floor like a bit of burnt rice, you, the foreigner. You are not a critic. You are the student who cannot even hold sticky rice properly. Besides, believe me, I have tried. It is an art. You do not just grab it like a bread roll, you heathen. When Yai tastes the tom sap, that is spicy Isaan soup, not the watery broth you get in Isam, and says, "Pet pal, add more chili," you do not say, "Oh, but my delicate constitution." No, you sit there, you sweat, you cry a little, and you learn. Now, let us talk about the elephant in the market, the smell. Western noses, especially British ones, trained on boiled vegetables and malt vinegar, are not prepared for Padek or para, or the general airborne chili dust that makes you feel like you have been pepper sprayed. Then we, in our arrogance, call it dirty, unhygienic, off. However, here is a truth that took me a decade to swallow, and I mean that literally. Fermentation is not spoilage, It is controlled rot. It is time travel in a jar. That funky punch in the nose aroma is the result of centuries of people living in a hot, flood-prone region figuring out how to preserve fish without refrigeration. They did not have a Sainsbury's to go and buy stuff. They had clay pots and salt and patience. When you smell Padek, you are smelling survival, ingenuity, culture, and yes, a bit of ammonia. Nevertheless, so is a fine aged cheese, mate. So is a dry aged steak. We just put fancy French names on our rot and call it terror. The Isaan grandmother does not care about your hygiene anxiety. She knows that the lactic acid bacteria in that jar are worth more than your entire Instagram story. Besides, frankly, she is right. Because while you are busy complaining about funk, you are missing layers of uni that no truffle oil has ever touched. This next bit might hurt. Nevertheless, someone has to say it. You know those food bloggers, the ones that go to Thailand, film themselves eating somtam, and then say, it's great, but I would add a little more palm sugar and maybe some avocado for creaminess. I want you to imagine Yai reading that comment. She cannot read English, but if she could, she would take that pestle and fly to London personally, not to hurt them, just to educate by force. Because here is the brutal, beautiful reality. Isaan food is not designed for you. It is not designed for a global audience. It is not unpolished or rustic as a marketing gimmick. It is the way it is because that is what keeps people alive in a climate that wants to kill you. Too spicy? Good. The capsicum makes you sweat. Sweating cools you down. It also kills bacteria. It also makes your heart pound and your endorphins fire. That aggression you complain about often. That is medicine, you soft Londoner. Too much fermented fish. That is salt. You need salt when you work in rice paddies all day and lose a litre of fluid by 10 a.m. Too sour. Unripe papaya has enzymes that add digestion in heat that would melt a cheese platter. Every single imbalance you whine about has a purpose. The moment you try to fix an Isaan recipe, you are not elevating it, you are castrating it. You are turning a jungle cat into a house cat and calling it an improvement. So what is the solution? Abandon your ego, leave it at the airport next to the duty-free gin. The most authentic meals I have had in Isaan happened when I stopped talking, when I stopped trying to understand, critique or document for my blog. I just sat on a tiny plastic stool, watched the mortar pound and ate what was put in front of me. Besides, you know what? After the first 5 bites of fiery hell, something shifts. The sweat becomes a release, the funk becomes familiar, the heat becomes a rhythm. You stop tasting with your London tongue and start tasting with your whole body. You feel the chili in your scalp, the salt on your lips, the sticky rice anchoring your soul. That is not a meal, that is a conversation, and you are not leading it. Here is what I have learned sitting in this dusty village while the sun sets and the geckos start their evening chorus. Your British culinary opinions, they are not wrong because they are British. They are wrong because they are colonial. The assumption that your palate is the measuring stick for all other cuisines, that is, the arrogance we never quite washed off, even after we handed back the flags. The Isaan kitchen does not need your critique. It does not need your stars or your forks or your elevated nonsense. It has been delicious for 1,000 years without you. What's more, it will continue to be delicious long after you have fled back to your central heating and your mashed potato. So, The next time you are in Thailand, do yourself a favour. Find a village stall, sit down. When the grandmother hands you a bowl of something that smells like a bog and looks like violence, do not ask what is in it. Do not ask for less chili. Just say sat lai. It is already delicious. Then eat, sweat, cry a little if you must. On top of that, when she laughs at your red face, laugh back, because that laugh, that is respect. Besides, you did not earn it with your opinions. You earned it by shutting up and listening to the mortar. Right then, your turn. Hit that like button if you have ever been humbled by a real Thai chili, and leave a comment with the dish that made you question your entire existence. For me, it was somtam Padek with extra crab guts. Do not ask. Subscribe if you want more grumpy lessons from the land of smiles and pain. Besides, remember, the mortar is always right. Now, get out of my kitchen.